Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Lucas Finesse. This is,
Abigail Fernandez.
I'm Garrett Miller.
And I'm Adam Peter.
and I have a question for you guys. Have you ever volunteered before? Well, if you haven't, the process is really difficult. Right
We're
now,
not getting paid for this,
Just
trust
so
me.
you know, yeah.
No.
This is not, it's
Right
happening
now.
right now.
No, joking.
if you guys want to volunteer right now at the high school, this is what you'd have to do. You have to go online to a Barrington 220 webpage and go through a list of 100 different volunteer opportunities in the local area. It's really difficult and confusing. From there, you got to go to the GRC, the library, receive information and papers, all just to get your hours. And my company realized that and how difficult the process is. And that's why we created Volunteer Me, an online website that connects both volunteers and nonprofits in the local area. So when you first sign up on our website, you'll come to a basic page where we'll answer a questionnaire and basic information like your first name, last name. And then you'll come to our main page. We'll have basic things where you can track your profile and your basic information. So if you want to volunteer at that very moment, you can sign up and go to something you like and volunteer at that very moment. So when you go choose something, you choose I want help, and you'll receive a text notification giving you confirmation that you have just signed up for this opportunity. And our main thing is notifications. So what we're going to do is, since we're targeting young teens, we're going to send them text notifications when we notice that there's opening volunteer opportunities that might match what they like. So we'll send them a message and they can instantly reply yes or no along with the confirmation, and they'll instantly get signed up, and then it's just a really easy way for them to start volunteering.
Okay, so we are targeting teens 15 to 18 who are involved in extracurricular activities such as clubs, sports, anything that has to do with that. We are also going to be targeting nonprofit organizations who are looking to recruit volunteers. But our most specific customer is going to be NHS students. The reason why we chose this was because we noticed that they do need a certain amount of volunteer hours in order for it to suit their needs. So that's why we're specifically targeting them. And then our geographics, we're sticking to Barrington High School and the Barrington community in general. So as me and my group were looking for existing alternatives, we came across three major ones. One of them being Idealist.com. So basically, as you can see, Idealist.com, you can make a profile on the top right. You can see that you can log in, you can sign up. You can also search your interests as well as your area. You can also select how far you're willing to travel to reach your destination. But as you can see, the website looks kind of dull. It doesn't really have many pictures. You don't really know who's running it, and we want to change that. Another one that we came across was Points of Light. Points of Light, as you can see, you can choose your issue as well as the other one. You can choose where you want to go. This would be one of our direct competitors. And then this one, though, you cannot make a profile. So this one is kind of just like a one-time thing. It doesn't really encourage you to continue to pursue the volunteering. And then the last one, which is our biggest competitor yet, is Volunteer Match. So as you can see, Volunteer Match, you can sign up, you can create a profile. It also lets you choose your interests as well as your location. They do have more pictures who appeal to the eye, kind of get your emotional triggers going. And then the reason why we're going to be different from those websites is because we're going to have notifications like Lucas said prior. So basically what these notifications are going to do is send you a message as to when volunteer opportunities are available that suit the interest that you selected. So you can cancel if you can't show up, or just stop if you no longer want to volunteer with us. And then we are also unique because we're going to stick more local. We want to stick more local because we noticed that most of the other ones are kind of just more broad, don't really have more opportunities in small communities like us.
And for our marketing tactics, we have in fact 3 free marketing tactics, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And since one of our customer segments is the younger generation, it adds a level of convenience for them because the younger generation has to have at least one of these 3 social platforms. And since they have this, then it's easier to retain them as our customers, and keep in touch with them and learn more about them. And how we contact them directly, our customer segment, NHS, Barrington students, etc., is through email, social interaction, and text messaging. But for businesses, we only do email and face-to-face interactions because we want to get the point across throughout the transaction, no mix-ups, and so on. Now there are some benefits and disadvantages to this. A disadvantage being for face-to-face conversations and text messaging, we can't reach out to many people. But an advantage is all this is free, so we have no cost of goods and SG&A whatsoever, and that is a really good benefit for us. And right now, our unit price, we're charging $10 to volunteer opportunities, and basically all they have to do is nothing. You heard me, nothing. So what we do is we find them volunteers, so they pay us $10 per month, which is a subscription fee, and in return, we would send them 3, 4, even 5 volunteers. So it's a pretty good price for them, getting the extra help, the extra people to help the cause. And right now, serviceable, there is 852 volunteer opportunities in the Barrington area. So that was our serviceable, so we can get to. And if we charge them $10 per month, at the end of the year, we can do $102,240.
All right, so the riskiest part of our business is our income. We need to determine whether or not businesses would be willing to pay for our service, and if so, how much. We've talked to several businesses, and they've told us they need to see results before they could purchase our product and determine if it's valuable or not. Now, to do this, we would be conducting a concierge service. The first step would be interviewing 100 BHS students and gathering information like their age, their interests, and what days they would like to volunteer. After this, we would then find a volunteering opportunity that suits their interests and contact that opportunity through email. Once contacted, we would then send out a notification to the students through text, informing them that we have found an opportunity for them that suits their interests. And then once the event has been completed, we will then meet with the business to discuss their experience and whether or not it was valuable enough for them to pay us a monthly subscription service. Now, some key metrics we would use to determine our success are number of volunteers, number of nonprofits, and number of people connected. Number of volunteers are the total number of people that we've interviewed. Number of nonprofits are the total number of businesses that we've sent volunteers to. And number of people connected are the number of volunteers that we've sent to these volunteering experiences. Now, as for our timeline, by February 15th, we will have conducted 100 interviews with Barrington High School students and gathered their key information. By February 18th, we will have found a volunteering opportunity that fits their interests. And by February 20th, we will have contacted the business that is hosting this volunteering opportunity. And by February 25th, we will have sent out a notification through text to these students, informing them that they have a volunteering opportunity. And by March 30th, we will have closed our concierge and look over the information to see if our business is viable. In addition to conducting interviews with the students, we would also like posters in order to inform them who we are and what we do. We would like to put these posters around the high school. And the posters we would be buying would be one poster for FedEx that's 18 inches by 24 inches, and then 10 smaller posters that are 8.5 by 11 inches. And these would all be laminated, and we put the large poster down in the cafeteria on the stairs. When you walk down, and majority of the students always walk through the cafeteria during their day, so they would all see it. And then the remaining of money would be for gas in order to conduct these meetings with the businesses when we go to meet them to discuss their experience of our business. Thank you for listening to our proposition, and I hope that you do business with us.
Great job. I love the idea, but I really like how you've got your MVP very focused in terms of that. And I also think that you did a really good job on the unique value proposition of identifying 3 things that make you unique, and they're valuable things. You know, I think the local relationships, the notifications, and the, well, actually those were the 2 things. They weren't 3. There were 2 things that you're doing, but those are both powerful. So that was good. And I did like the way you presented it very much.
Thank
The name, I'm still gonna go back, the name, I know,
Yeah.
it
Temporary.
doesn't, it isn't, yeah, I know, I wish you, I don't have a better idea, but I wish, the idea deserves a better name, put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So if you do come up with one, I'll be happy to see it. Money?
Yeah, you had, I went off too fast, the 852 were number of nonprofits?
Well, no, it's more like, it's almost like, because there's many places, like nonprofits who have like many different like volunteer, so it's.
So those are volunteer opportunities,
Yeah.
in some subset of that is the number of
Yeah.
nonprofits. Okay.
But
It
you're
just went by
charging
too
by
quickly,
the organization, not the gig,
Yeah.
so that, so that's,
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Multiple gigs.
so,
The,
go ahead, Monty.
Just one other question. The $10 subscription fee, great idea. You said for supplying a number of volunteers, was there some implied in that, was there a guarantee, like you will post $10 and you get
Yeah.
10 volunteers, or is it?
Oh, $10 is basically the monthly subscription?
Right, but just a side comment, you
Yeah.
made it, and I just wasn't sure
Oh.
So
where you were going.
if people, like, they're gonna fill out like a survey, like what they want, if they're interested in a certain genre that that company or volunteer opportunity is looking for, that's what they do, like help the needy, like
Yeah.
hot meal and all that, then we would push them toward them. It just depends on the student's interest, because we can't like force them to do something that they're not interested in.
No, that's what I
Yeah.
thought, but I just want to make sure. Good.
Of the 100 students you interviewed, do they all want volunteer positions so they could log hours? What's the motivation?
Well, like we were saying before, a lot of them we're talking to are going to be NHS members, which is already volunteering. And like the main reason we're going is we've talked to them, they said like if they're already volunteering, like why not have like a simpler option? So we haven't talked to all through the 100 yet, like thoroughly, but we still like, a lot of them have told us they would like to use our service.
How many of the 100 have you identified so far?
Around like a dozen.
Because you're 2 days away from
Yeah.
that objective, so that might be a little unrealistic. So Monty's wife used to run the volunteer program here. And this, to me, the $10 a month is a no-brainer if you have a really rich universe of potential volunteers.
Yeah.
So this is like, you gotta build the user base in order for it to be valuable to the communities.
Exposure for.
Yep. And so, how to go about building the user base? There's one way to do it, which you're talking about, which is kind of a grassroots campaign, put up posters and solicit the 3,000 students that go to school here and kind of win them over one by one. I would do that. But in addition to that, go to the volunteer coordinator role that sits over in the GRC
Yeah.
or GCR,
Miss
whatever.
Orchard, yeah, we can talk to her.
And just say, you make people, like anybody that's coming in, have them sign up for this. This is like the easiest way for them to get their volunteer opportunities and build a user base that way. I think that, I didn't see that in
Yeah.
here.
Was
Yeah.
that website that you showed at the beginning already built? Did you already go, or are they screenshots? 'Cause it looked like.
Screenshots.
Oh, okay, but it
Right
looked like
now
you
it's
were
just-
pretty far along, so,
Yeah, right now we're just doing it all manually.
okay.
The concierge MVPs is the best way to do this. I mean, that is,
Just a lot of hustle and.
Yeah.
it's just, you know, it's like
It looked,
behind
it
the
was,
scenes. we're
looked
doing
good
it.
enough to be very believable, that's why I actually thought you had it done.
Can you go back to the logo, the hands in the world logo?
From the very beginning.
No, just,
There's
Oh,
one.
did anybody in the room, did it take a while to figure out that those were two hands?
I mean, now that you pointed out that they're hands, like, I didn't realize it until
Okay,
twice.
so just work on maybe making them a little bit more like this.
Yeah.
I thought they were legs for a minute there, and then I'm like, well, that's weird. And then I didn't know what it was.
Or you might
The,
put a star.
Yeah, it's not like a finish, it's kind of just like, gonna give you like a basic example of what it could look like.
Yeah.
Or a little star where Barrington is to kind of highlight the local aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the star and the Barrington would be very
Yeah.
cool.
Can you have a fee per volunteer procure?
Yeah.
So there may be things that are events that are like single one time a year events where they need a lot of volunteers and you could quickly coordinate a set. You know, looked into that.
That's something we haven't really discussed yet, but that's something that sounds cool. We hope to.
The MVP is focused on the NHS population?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It can go for others, but we're
Yeah.
focused on them.
I think my connection, who Michael pointed out, has always had shared with me over the time she was here, as my wife,
Your
that,
bill.
yeah, my boss. And that she, shared the difficulty of getting late notice on volunteer opportunities from the whatever organizations, and then being able to reach out to the right group of people to quickly volunteer and fill those positions. So, and I think the greatest measure of this, NHS has a real motivation, it's part of the criteria to gain that. You've really won when you're really influencing the whole student population and having volunteerism become part of daily life. And this makes it easier because I know a lot of feedback, Jill had gotten was the difficulty of finding the right opportunity. Everything you pointed out very clearly, and you all believe in, but as you had said, the difficulty, it's too much trouble, I'm not going to do it. When it's not too much trouble and people start doing this as daily work, it's great.
Is there any kind of a, bonus or motivational, anything something, so when somebody does respond to a last minute request, that they get rewarded or recognized so that it's positive reinforcement kind of thing? It would be nice if there was a recognition component.
They could come out on the
Or stars
website
or-
or,
Yeah, just to kind of
Yeah.
encourage
Points
them
or-
to keep volunteering.
Yeah, kind of gold stars every time they do something, you get extra gold stars.
sharing
for
pictures of
last-
volunteers who did something over the weekend.
Did the volunteer coordinator here, you met with them?
Yeah, we've
Did you get any insight from that person on what would be valuable for that, from their point of view, from this type of system?
Well, basically, she just gave me information the many nonprofits locally. She just gave me the places, and it never really came together.
I wonder if a report back to the volunteer coordinator saying,
Yeah.
hey, here's a summary of everyone that volunteered and how many hours, and you just gave that to them, would give them enough of an incentive to say, I'll promote that, because it's a real pain in the neck to get kids to turn back their hours to you.
That's
And,
exactly
Yeah.
right.
and I can just give you a report at the end that tells you, here's
great
the
idea.
25
Because-
people.
Yeah, and then Mrs. Orchard had more time to help you cultivating the
Yeah.
opportunities. That job, I know for my wife, became a real data entry job in the latter years because it was just, not really connecting students with the opportunities, but logging them and making sure everybody's getting credit for it. Anything through the website that you can do that automates that, which should happen.
Or a text reply, how many hours were
Yeah,
done.
and then it's verified and certified, because I know that's a problem of is this really volunteer, is this work for free?
And I do think your differentiation point of it being a local database is probably pretty valuable. Again, I just come back to this has to be not 100. I know that's right for the MVP, 100, and I applaud you for containing your MVP, but when you imagine it being a functional website, it's got to be, 80% of the students are enrolled in it or something. I don't know what percent of our Barrington High School students volunteer, but it's got to be that universe. Whatever that universe is, they should all be in this system. And the best way to do that is to work with the person in the school that coordinates this right now. That's the.
Yeah.
Could have helped you a year ago.
And you can just sit there and say, how often, when do people sign up for volunteer? Everyone has to go through that person?
Yeah.
Just sit by their desk and enroll people right there.
Yeah.
Okay. You need $60
Yeah,
for posters
and some gas money.
and some gas money?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I don't think we have a problem with that. You're our least expensive MVP so far.
We could
And you
have,
can maybe have the biggest impact.
yeah, exactly. That would be a great.
Okay.
That would be a great.
Well, great.
No, I think that's, yeah, I think that's,
Nick, you got anything else for these guys?
Good, 60?
yep.
All right.
All right,